Elegant, big, colored red and black, and without a doubt the most beautiful Camponotus in my ant room. I'm talking of course about Camponotus singularis. What once started as a fragile colony has turned into this beautiful and booming colony. I have always been very gentle with them, and the first months I didn't bother them too much, so filming them was not an option. But now that the colony is stable and growing at a steady pace, I thought it would be a wonderful timing to show them again. But before we do so, I wanted to say thank you and a big shout out to Ninduturu. As like a lot of the colonies, I got this beautiful species through her, as she knew I wanted them badly. Please check out her socials. And since I'm already giving a shout out, I would like to give one to Esthetic as well. He got me this beautiful ytong nest for testing, and as you can see, the colony is thriving. As many ant keepers may know, it can be very scary moving one of your colonies, and especially for me, since I'm a big fan of tubs and tubes, which the colony performed excellent in. But I have to say that the colony felt at ease pretty quickly, moving the sand around and barricading the entry with a stick. And now, a few months later, the colony has this massive brood pile and is growing even faster. You can find a link of his store in the description, and it's definitely worth checking out. Some ants like to be packed together, whatever their reason may be: heat, humidity, or being big huggers. But the singularis is a little bit more spacious. They have their brood on one spot and like to be spread around in a nest. And as they are growing and this massive brood pile is waiting to be born, I thought it would be a nice idea to give them another nest. And of course, one of those beautiful ytong nests from Esthetic. I wanted to do some testing, as I never experimented with plaster before. I'm really curious how it reacts with the fluids in a ytong. One of the chambers is filled with cocoa fiber, and the ants can do as they please with it. As you can see, their outworld is getting dirty, and getting a clean shot is hard. The ants exploring and feasting on their usual roaches and jelly has taken its toll on the outworld. Since this colony is special to me, I wanted to be a little bit extra, and my wife helped with that. Besides a new nest, the ants would also be receiving a new outworld, one from glass. Bigger than the smaller aquariums I use, but not as big as the bigger ones. And besides, it's the only outworld with that size, it's not the extra part. My wife has put her time and effort in this amazingly detailed lid for the outworld. The wooden lid has a white base layer and has doodles on top with a lot of my favorite things. It contains a lot of animals with a cute fox in the middle, which resembles my last name. A lot of food, yes, food. Pizza, hamburgers, ice cream and protein shake. And as a dessert, cherry and peach. And boy do I love my dessert. Some of the details are amazing. It shows my passion for filming and photography, but also my big love for coffee. I think the lid is amazing and personal, and it suits very well with the singularis. The lid also has an LED on the bottom, which I honestly won't be using a lot, but it's great to have in advance. Is there anything in particular you like about the lid? Let me know in the comments, as I think my wife would love to read it. The singularis are great climbers, and it's not very practical to have them hanging on the bottom of the lid. So we will have to apply a barrier on their new outworld. In my glass outworlds, I like to use a barrier made of baby powder and alcohol, which everyone likes to call talcohol. The alcohol evaporates, but the baby powder remains, which will have the ants falling if they step on it. People always ask for a mixture ratio, and even though it feels like a 50-50 to me, I'd rather say that it's need to be thicker than orange juice, but not as thick as toothpaste. Anything in between works just fine. When I apply the barrier, I make strokes upward, but I would rather depth the entire brush. In this way I make sure there's barrier everywhere I touch. The outworld is 40 by 25 centimeters and has a hole on the side, close to the bottom. The hole is still quite high, but that's a problem for later. I have an adapter from Antkeep, which will make sure I can pull some tubing through and attach the nest. I fill the outworld up with some sand, make sure the new nest is nice and moist, and then everything is finally ready and good to go. Unplugging and reattaching the nest goes a lot smoother than expected, as they can get quite fuzzy. All I had was one escapee, and even that confrontation went pretty well. I thought, as curious as the singularis is, they would be exploring right away, but boy was I wrong. I think I traumatized the colony enough. It's in the middle of the night and the ants are not going anywhere. I decided to try again in the morning. And in the morning, after my first coffee, this is what I found. Yes! Ants in a new nest. And by the looks of it, they are recently started exploring. The ants are walking around a lot. And what it seems like to me is they are taking it all in. Some soil has been moved, but it's not a lot. I have a beautiful family that deserves my attention as well. So I decide I check on them a couple of times during the day. And film some bits when things get interesting. And when I get back from our breakfast, it's immediately the jackpot. Worker ants are doing their best, digging and exploring in the soil. I get lost in time and watch them for a while. Workers pulling on the lumps of soil and walking around with it. It seems like they are sticking it to the plaster as well. Due to the warm temperature in the ant room and the moist nest, condensation appears. I decide to let the camera roll for a time lapse. It must feel amazing. A new outworld, a new nest, some digging medium and plaster. So many things to discover. I have to admit that I think it's very satisfying to keep exotic ants thriving in a setup you created. And even extra rewarding that my favorite colony now has a setup with a personal touch. Ever since I started antkeeping, I wanted this species. So big and elegant, a queen which looks intimidating and massive. And even the workers big and beautiful with a gorgeous color combinations of red and black. But even the workers which are completely black look amazing. And not to forget about their majors. Majors are pretty big by themselves, but the majors from the singularis colony are extra huge. Massive heads with big mandibles capable of biting hard, but also their capabilities of storing liquids. I think they're amazing, but I'd rather not come too close with my fingers. The ants are digging and exploring, feasting in their new outworld and hopefully relax some after my harassments. Everything seems to be going well, but I was wondering and wanted to ask you. What do you think the ants will do with the soil? I noticed the colony already moved some brood. Will they be moving the soil out? Will they stay put? Or will they be moving partly or fully in a new nest? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will show the correct answers in the next singularis update. And while you're at it, could you please like the video, so we let YouTube know that the content is worth sharing with others. And if you got this far and have nothing to say, please leave a heart in the comments. Once again, YouTube knows that the comment is decent, and I know that the true legends watched until the end. And about my absence with the longer videos, I would like to apologize. Life has been a lot, and it's still not where I want it to be, but I'm getting there. I'm slowly feeling more creative. So, do you want some more longer content? Make sure to smash that like button. For now, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye!